Gonna be honest, guys, I can't think of an intro. Welcome back to WZ Sports Day. It is the 6th semi-annual iteration of the event, this one coming at you from Los Angeles, California. It's a winter one, so a bit less people at 10, but trust me when I say that this is one of the most stacked lineups you're ever going to see in a WZ Sports Day. We're going to take a deeper look at that lineup and all players involved following this quick event outline. I should really start filming these at the meetups. Here's the event outline for WZ Sports Day Los Angeles 2024. If you tuned in last winter for the Austin Sports Day, this should look pretty familiar to you as it's virtually identical. There are 3 teams, one of them having 4 players and the other 2 having 3 players, and they'll face off in a round-robin format in every sport. The best record at the end will win, and there are tiebreaker scenarios if necessary. One thing that's a bit different from Austin that should be cleared up are the sub-restrictions, since there's one team with 4 players. These are in place to prevent any sub-abusing that could particularly happen in stamina-heavy sports like basketball and soccer. Wiffle ball and volleyball, contrarily, you're pretty much forced to use everyone equally, which actually acts more as a disadvantage than anything. All this is in place to make sure that the 4-player team doesn't have any sort of advantage in the event. So getting into the player pool now, and as I said before, this is a really stacked lineup despite it being more on the smaller end with just 10 players. A lot of heavy hitters who wouldn't typically make it to a winter meetup showed up for this one, such as Eirik, Brawley, and even Aiden, who is making his first Sports Day appearance since Atlanta 2021. Apart from that, as you can see, there really just aren't any slouches in this lineup. The captains were selected as Nathan, King, Joseph, and also in that pick priority order, and the picks went to chalk. Nathan selected first pick, King selected second, and Joseph was left with the wraparound picks. Now it's time to get into the draft with some analysis of each player, which were all preemptively recorded before the event so that I wouldn't yet know what would happen, and the speculation would be genuine. And don't worry, I shortened it heavily as a correction from Raleigh, where I definitely rambled on a bit too long. Along with the analysis, you'll also see exclusive interviews with each player from Anks, who was not able to play the Sports Day due to injury, and instead is going to be the media man behind the camera. With all that said, let's get into it. The first player we're going to be talking about is Nathan. It's his 4th Sports Day and his first time being a captain. He'll be the captain of the blue team this time around. He's got a pretty good track record, especially as of recent, between the tie first place with White Team in Philly, as well as most recently first place with Crimson Team in Raleigh Sports Day. On the individual side of things, his value isn't really going to shine through the stats that you see on screen, but he does provide a lot of value in areas that aren't necessarily tracked very well by the stats. That includes stuff like soccer defense, supportive play in basketball, volleyball setting, etc., and I think volleyball in particular is Nathan's best sport. He's historically been one of the better players in WZ. If there is anything to circle as points of concern for Nathan, it definitely would be wiffle ball and basketball. With basketball, depending on how his team shakes out, because it's unclear just how much playing time he'll get, because he'll be on the team of 4. But as far as wiffle goes, he's coming off a rough event both at the plate and on the mound. Nathan is on paper probably one of the worst players in the event overall, but that's mostly a testament to just how loaded the lineup is this time around. Keep in mind that in Raleigh, he was drafted onto the winning team at the 6th overall picked before 6 other players on the draft board, so he's no slouch, and don't be surprised if Nathan is really an underrated asset in this event.
With the sexiest jersey of all time.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited by a lot.
By a lot.
Yes, how are you feeling after being off for the winter? Wait, you're off for the summer?
What?
Wait, no.
No, I was
you were here for summer,
yeah.
And you missed the last winter. That's what it was.
Yeah, I've never been
by a lot. Yeah, it's your first winter of all time. That's so good. All right, so how are you feeling about your team and your chances at Sports Day?
Pretty good, but I think that the playing field's pretty even. I think soccer is going to be really hard for our team. I think it really could go any direction for any team at this point. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. Awesome. Well, it's good talking to you, Nathan, and best of luck in Sports Day.
So the second captain is going to be King, a longtime Sports Day veteran playing in his 6th straight Sports Day event. He will be the captain of the black team,
It's his second captain appearance. His first one was captaining the Orange team in Philly, which is also his best team result to date. King is still unfortunately looking for that first solo Sports Day win, but from an individual perspective, he's been a really solid player overall and was without a doubt coming off of his best event in Raleigh. King's biggest strength is as a wiffle ball hitter. He's been one of the best hitters in WZ for the last several events, but in Raleigh, he also made some noticeable strides in areas that he had struggled with in the past, most notably basketball and volleyball. I think we always kind of knew the basketball potential was there. We'd seen some of that in mini Sports Day events, but Raleigh, he put up very respectable numbers there. And volleyball was definitely his biggest improvement, and we'll have to see if that was just a flash in the pan or if that'll be his new norm moving forward. Soccer is still definitely a concern. That's generally been his worst sport, and especially in the 3v3 speed soccer format that'll be featured here. That will definitely put more pressure on him to perform. The only event so far to have speed soccer was Austin, where you can see the stats for that format denoted with asterisks. He struggled a lot there, but his soccer play did look a bit better in Raleigh, so we'll see if that can translate here. Overall, King is going to look to continue building his rapidly rising stock in this event.
Today, King, I have to ask you, last two events, you had a rough one and a mixed one. Can we say that? Can we say that? So we had a little bit of yellow action, yellow gaming, and then a little bit teal.
We were broken and overpowered.
But now we are on a new team.
Yes.
With Haller and Raleigh. Talk to me about it.
Yep. So I have a team that I was very pleased about when I drafted, but then I learned that not only is my entire team injured, but I also literally have thing 1 and 2, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm cautiously optimistic about my team this sports day, because while I think if we are tunneled on winning the event, we could put up a good fight, there's a very realistic possibility that we spiral so hard that it's crazy. But no, it's gonna be nuts. Awesome. I'm excited about my team.
Awesome.
All trolling aside.
Awesome.
The third and final captain in the event is going to be Joseph, captain of the white team this time around. He made his first captain appearance last year in Austin, where he was the captain of the purple team. Overall, Joseph is a really consistent and solid Sports Day player. He's played in all of them, and really across the board, you pretty much know what you're going to get at this point. He's definitely a specialist kind of player, and his claim to fame is wiffle ball. He's a prolific power hitter in the clan, his 8 home runs being tied for the most in the league, and without a doubt a top 2 pitcher in the league as well. Admittedly, between the two most recent events, Austin being a down event pitching and Raleigh having a small sample for him, is a bit of concern, but you can expect he'll be a reliable force on the mound. We saw his best basketball event yet in Raleigh, where he was a really solid player both on offense and defense, where to start off his career, Joseph had a bit of a rocky start in basketball, so that is some promising development. Soccer, he has always been a rock-solid goalie, and that's most likely the role he'll be primarily looking to play on his team here. Volleyball has been shaky, and he didn't appear in Raleigh volleyball, so that I think is where we could see the biggest range of results from Joseph, who is otherwise a very consistent player that'll provide some good value to his team.
Welcome to the Sports Day interview. So, have you improved in volleyball since when? Since the green team. Have you improved?
Well, I didn't play, so I can only imagine I could get better.
Oh, that's fucking rough. That's fucking rough. What is this bait? Dude, this is the best interviews of all time. All right, Joe, give me your thoughts on the Sports Day. What's gonna happen? Is it nuts?
Well, regardless, I'm hoping to get a riot gun.
Wait, what?
That's why I drafted Aiden.
Oh, so he's gonna go crazy.
I don't care. I just want a gun, buddy.
Oh, okay, that's all right.
So the first pick of the draft from Nathan is going to be Wally onto the blue team. This should come as no surprise when you look at the results he's had. He's the only player left with at least 2 events played to not outright lose a sports day, the only blemish on his record being that tie first with Orange in Philly. He'll be reuniting with Nathan here, who he actually just won Sports Day with on Crimson Team in Raleigh, so that's a promising start to this blue team. There's not a whole lot to say about Wally that hasn't already been said. His best sport is basketball, where he has really popped off in the last 2 events in particular, averaging about 9 points a game in both. He's also exploded onto the scene in volleyball the last 2 events in the same fashion, where he has been really consistent in a sport where most other players have struggled to find consistency. He's a great wiffle ball hitter, and even more scary are the pitching skills he's developed, where we saw a sneak preview of it in Austin where he pitched a really solid game, and then it really came through in Raleigh where he pitched 3 innings with no runs allowed and 9 strikeouts recorded. If there's any concern at all for Wally, it's soccer, but he has proven to be solid there as well, particularly on defense. Also important to note is that Wally had good results in Austin speed soccer, and that's the format that will be present here. So all in all, Wally will look to run it back with Nathan and get another win on the board here with the blue team.
All right, Wally. You're coming off 2 massive Sports Day victories, all right? So, and the whole clan is saying that Blue's favored by a lot. That is the rumor, at least. So, talk to me about this Sports Day and how it's going to be.
I don't even know if I can play Sports Day.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Dude, I've liquided 9 times today. I don't know if I can get to the field and actually play. Shitting my pants. No, seriously. I need a car to go to Target because I need like fucking Pepto and Gatorade.
What you need? I have Pepto. I'll give you
You
Pepto.
do?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, let's do it right now.
Oh, okay, Pepto. All right, but all right.
Then we can redo
All right.
Coming in at the second pick is going to be Brawley, selected by King onto the black team. Again, no surprises here. Wally and Brawley have historically been 1A and 1B in WZ, and them coming in at the top 2 picks in Philly as well as this event reflects that. What Brawley doesn't have, shockingly, is a solo Sports Day win. He was part of that 3-way tie in Philly, but otherwise has 2 second places on his resume, so he'll be looking for that first win this time around. Individually, Brawley's been an amazing player and completely lived up to the hype, particularly in Philly and Raleigh. Philly really was his breakout event where he was almost certainly the MVP, and he followed that up with a really impressive performance in Raleigh as well. Brawley is an elite basketball player in WZ, his 7.13 points per game ranking first in the league. He also has been really consistently good in volleyball as well, with strong hits and reliable receiving. We also saw Brawley's best soccer performance yet in Raleigh. Even there though, I think we could see more. The one concern I would have to say for Brawley is wiffle ball, where his hitting has been inconsistent and pitching isn't really in his repertoire. He is a great fielder though, which does provide some value not really seen on the stats, and if you look at his Philly hitting numbers, we know the upside is there. All in all, he's a high impact player, and him and King both are going to be hunting down their first Sports Day win here in LA on the black team. Alright, so Anxious kind of forgot to interview Brawley, so instead here is an exclusive, never before seen interview with Brawley from Raleigh 2023.
Like 7, 10, 15.
No, it's just 15.
It's just 15 inches.
Yeah. No, just 15.
Oh, your adult size is 15.
Yes.
Alright, what is your 455 size?
I don't know, it's 15.
Alright, do you think you're gonna win the event?
No.
Alright, GG's. Very nice interviewing you, man.
Thanks, man.
Joseph with 2 wraparound picks here, and his first one is going to be Aiden onto the white team. That's right, after 2.5 years, Aiden is making his Sports Day return. This will be his first event since the very first Sports Day, which was Atlanta 2021. With that being said, it could be seen as a risky move here that Joseph is taking him this early in the draft, but it definitely makes sense when you consider what we saw back then in Atlanta and what we know about his skill set. Aiden in Atlanta 2021 was very arguably the MVP of the event. He was really just solid all around there in all 4 sports, one of which being kickball, which isn't present here, and I think for the most part though, we can expect him to still retain those abilities. We haven't seen him in volleyball, but I think we can anticipate that he'll be pretty good there. At the very least, he's pretty tall, which is a valuable asset in the sport. I think my biggest point of concern that I would circle for Aiden coming into this event is wiffle ball. He did hit well there in Atlanta, but the overall pitching ability in WZ has improved notably since then, and it'll be interesting to see if his bat can keep up. What will help him, though, in that regard, is that one of the most prominent pitchers, that being Joseph, is on his team, so he won't have to hit against him. Truthfully, I think Aiden is a pick that can make or break this team. We'll have to see if he can live up to the hype that he built in the past from his Atlanta 2021 performance. Once again on the white team, this time joined by Captain Joseph.
All right, it's been a while since you played. How's it feel to be back?
Oh, it feels great. I've been itching, I was hoping I could come back this summer. Injury took me out, couldn't be there. But I'm excited to see how we do. This is my worst sport.
Oh, it's your worst sport. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to soccer and basketball.
Soccer, basketball.
I think that's where me and Eric we'll thrive a little more. But this is Joe's chance to carry us.
Oh, yes, sir.
This is Joe's best sport.
Yes, sir.
So.
All right.
The second of the wraparound picks from Joseph is going to be Eirik onto the white team. That finalizes the white team as Joseph, Aiden, Eirik, and ironically none of them have been on a team before together in Sports Day. This is definitely an understandable pick as Eirik is coming off a couple great events in Philly and Raleigh. He had a rocky start to his career with the pink team in Atlanta, but since then has really built a name for himself. Unfortunately, still looking for that first solo Sports Day win, but with some really respectable individual performances. Eirik's claim to fame is always going to be soccer, where he's almost certainly the best soccer player in WZ, and his results have reflected that. In this 3v3 speed soccer format especially, I think he might shine more than ever. Another area where Eirik has unexpectedly become known as one of the more consistent performers is volleyball, where he looked great in Philly and arguably looked even better in Raleigh with the teal team. In basketball, the numbers don't look great, but I think we saw some promising things from him in Raleigh. That being said, with this white team now filled out as Joseph, Aiden, Eirik, they're going to have their work cut out for them in basketball regardless, with Wally and Brawley on the other two teams. In wiffle ball, Eirik has sort of been an all-or-nothing power hitter that doesn't really get on base a lot, but is good at doing damage, so he definitely adds value to your lineup. We saw a limited amount of pitching from him as well in Raleigh, where he was surprisingly pretty good, so possibly a backup option for Joseph on the mound as well. I think Eirik makes a ton of sense at this pick, and fills out a solid team with Joseph and Aiden.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This is literally what we're doing. All right. So we're coming off of Raleigh, which had a different soccer format, and now we're going to another different soccer format.
Yeah, and I think we lose off of it.
You think you lose? Why?
I think we lose because smaller fields. Smaller fields. Gonna require a lot more like running. I don't like running.
Oh, what?
And yeah, I don't know. I'm not looking. It's going to make walls more important, I think.
Yes. Wow.
And I think walls already benefited people a lot in the last indoor when the field was bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So I just see the effect of that being a lot better for other people. Yeah. It's like harder to defend against walls, so I'm not looking forward to that.
All right, thanks.
With the 5th overall pick, King selects Haller onto the black team. Haller, like King, is a Sports Day veteran who will be playing in his 6th straight event. Surprisingly, though, these two had never been on a team together until now. That's not the reason King picked him, though, as Haller has been a really solid performer in Sports Day and shown a lot of consistent reliability across the multitude of sports. He's coming off a couple great events in soccer where he was a huge force to be reckoned with in Raleigh, and he also definitely excelled in the Austin speed soccer format. Haller also has been a really solid support piece in basketball, generally with great passing and stalwart defense, and some scoring ability to boot. Volleyball has started to become a bit of a concern with him, where he started off great in Phoenix and Philly, but has fallen off a bit there since in Austin and Raleigh. I think you can still expect solid backline play and serving from him though, nonetheless. Wiffle ball hitting has been a bit on and off for him, but his most recent full event hitting was Austin, where he had his best event yet at the plate. In Raleigh, he only had 2 at-bats, so not much to go off of there. However, he unexpectedly showed up big on the mound in Raleigh, pitching a solid 2 innings to a 1.50 ERA. That makes him potentially a solid pitching option on a team that overall lacks pitching strength. I think Haller in general is a great player to have accompany a superstar player like Brawley, and that'll help Haller play to his best ability too. With this pick, that rounds out the black team as King, Brawley, Haller, which definitely should be a serious contender in this competition.
What? Alright, so you're coming off purple into pink. Into purple pink. So, tell me about purple and tell me about pink, and tell me why you are not purple or pink anymore.
Purple was trash, pink was trash.
Yes, and now you're black.
Is trash.
And now you're black. Why is black trash? What?
Well,
that's so good.
The only thing in common with all 3 is I was on them all, so I think I'm just trash.
You think you're just trash?
That might be it, yeah.
So you're the problem?
I'm just realizing that now, yeah.
You're just realizing
At
that
first
now.
I thought it might have been my teammates, but that's 3 in a row, and I'm on all 3.
So you're not going to win the sports
Because I've had different teammates. No, absolutely not.
What? Why not?
We're getting 08.
08? Unironic?
Unironic, yeah.
Unironic.
Yeah, $10. I'll bet. $10 right now, on cam. Yep.
I bet $10. $10.
$10. Maybe 20.
Yep.
Oh, wait, yep, I bet.
Talking in the third person, warning as usual. With the 6th overall pick in the draft, Nathan selects TK onto the blue team. Only 2 players left in the draft, and Nathan will get both of them, so not much choice involved here. But nevertheless, TK is obviously a Sports Day veteran here, playing in his 6th straight event. Team-wise, he had a really strong start to his career with 2 first places and a tie first. For the last 2 events though, coming off a couple last place finishes, so definitely will be looking for a bounce back in that regard. The individual performances though have stayed fairly consistent, but the peak event for TK was without a doubt Philly, where he was one of the top players in the event. Austin was somewhat of a down event, but in Raleigh we saw bounce backs in wiffle ball hitting, soccer, and basketball, where he had his best basketball event yet, which is promising moving forward. Where we unfortunately saw a step back was volleyball, where TK had been consistently solid at it in the previous 3 events, but looked shaky at it in Raleigh. We'll just have to see if that continues, or if that was just an outlier. Wiffle ball pitching was also down in Raleigh, but the sample was small, and with Wally on the team, it's unknown if TK will be on the mound anyways, despite being the career leader in innings pitched. Generally speaking, TK's biggest strength is wiffle ball hitting, but I think that overall, he can be characterized as a solid all-around player and will bring value to this team, especially coming in at this low of a pick. Again though, that's more so to do with the intense strength of the lineup, more so than anything else. TK will join the blue team alongside Nathan, who he's not been on a team with before, Wally, who he took home a championship with in the very first sports day on red team, and the last player we've yet to talk about who's coming up next.
Breath of the trash into trash of the kingdom. Yellow into pink. Alright, same question.
Beggars.
Where's the beggars? Alright.
Why is this guy the worst?
I'm the worst interviewer of all time. Alright, so you're on blue team, which is nuts. So just talk to me about blue team.
We have Wally.
Alright, now tell me about sports day and what's going to happen.
Probably going to come down to volleyball, I guess.
Volleyball?
It's the last sport.
Volleyball Ringa?
I think it's going to be close.
Ringa.
Yeah, and volleyball is RNG, so that'll be good. Yeah, roll dice. But, feel pretty good about wiffle ball.
Wiffle ball, which is right now in 2 minutes.
It's right now in 2 minutes.
Okay, good. So you feel good about that?
Yeah.
2-0.
Finally coming in at the last pick of the draft is going to be Doobie onto the blue team. This isn't Doobie's first time coming in at the last pick, and the first time it happened was in Phoenix, where he massively outperformed his pick slot in his debut event. Doobie has played every event since and been a really solid team player, and his track record shows that, only just coming off his first sports day loss, which was in Raleigh, and still a second place finish. Similarly to Nathan, Doobie's strengths aren't going to really show in the stats for the most part. He's a really solid support player in a number of ways. His volleyball backline play is great, and we also saw him come into his own in the serving department in Raleigh. In soccer, he wasn't able to contribute much in Raleigh before his injury. However, the last time we saw him in the speed soccer format that will be present here, he was without a doubt the MVP, leading the league with a whopping 17 goals in just 2 games. In a stronger soccer lineup here, though, we'll have to see if he can bring that type of performance to the table again. The concerns for Doobie are surely going to be basketball and wiffle ball, also similarly to Nathan. Another concern for Doobie that has to be mentioned at this point is his injury history, as we've seen him suffer event-ending injuries twice now in just his 4 events, but we'll have to see if that's just bad luck or not. As far as basketball goes, we saw some pretty decent stuff from him in Austin, where he was also teamed up with Wally, so that could be encouraging. But overall, the basketball performance hasn't been great. Wiffle ball hitting for Doobie's career hasn't been too good, but we did see some good numbers in Raleigh, albeit a very limited sample. He had just 5 at-bats, but he only made 1 out and showed great plate discipline as well. With a decent pitching performance in Austin under his belt as well, he could be a solid backup pitching option for this team. I think Doobie rounds out the blue team really nicely, where he'll be joining Nathan, whom he was teammates with on Philly White team, Wally, who he took home a championship with on Austin Aqua team, and TK, who he took home a championship with on Phoenix Black team. So he's well acquainted with everyone here as teammates. That'll finish up the blue team as Nathan, Wally, TK, Doobie, sure to be a strong contender in the event.
What up, Doobie?
You were literally playing.
So, yeah, you're coming off an Aqua dub into a green team, and now you're up this sports day with fucking blue team. What are your thoughts?
I'm Wally, my team. We won.
So you won. You just won. What's your best sport?
Volleyball.
Volleyball. You think you're gonna go crazy on volleyball?
No.
Oh my god.
Well, we won anyways.
You won anyways.
We won.
So you think you guys just won? Like no question.
We won.
100%.
We won.
All right. Who's your biggest competitor then?
No one. We won.
So that rounds out the teams. You can see them all here on screen. And that'll do it for this introductory video. Next time will be the first sport of the event, which will be wiffle ball. The goal will be to upload a video per week, so stay tuned for next week where WZ Sports Day Los Angeles 2024 will kick off. Thanks for watching.